transform you as a young person by equipping you with the knowledge and also a platform where you can also be able to share your experiences, opinions on a number of things that do partake the development of this country. Now, we always have expectational pressures from society on a number of things. And there is a way society is set up that by the time you're growing up, you know, by this age, I should have done this. When I'm a boy, I should do this. When I'm a girl, I should be doing this. And all those usually push us to do a number of things, some things which we never really want to do. Today, we're going to be looking at that and finding out some of those expectational pressures from society and how we can be able to stand them. If they are doing us good, how we can be able to achieve by, you know, making sure that we use the pressure to achieve and doing certain things that can make us better people. And today, I'm having a gentleman and a lady right here to be able to take us through that. What are the pressures they've gone through and how have they been able to manage all that? Are the pressures helping them to become better people, or are they, you know, putting them on pressure to achieve according to the society expectations, not to what they would love to do? Gentlemen and lady, welcome to Youth of Purpose.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourselves.
I'm by name of Mutiaba Robert Samogere, and I'm at LDC. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Biasubiza Mark, a student at LDC. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you, so smart.
Thank you.
Lady.
My name is Jemima Elizabeth Chiudu, and I'm a young lawyer. I'm honored to be here.
I love your smile.
Thank you.
Amazing. Starting with you, because most of the pressures that we have in society, most of them are directed to the girl child or the females. Kindly take us through some of the pressures that you've experienced as a lady.
To be specific, being a girl child, as you say, is one of the things I take as privilege. Being a girl, being a woman is privilege. So, but then the pressures come in terms of when, for example, us who go to school, when you're done with school, on your graduation day, people will not even wait. They, you know, they will have those sayings in local dialect to mean that now that you're done with school, we have had a party of graduation. The next thing, like everyone expects you to get married. Like everyone will be like, among the people who have attended your graduation, where is your boyfriend? Like, want to see where is the man? And oh my God, those pressures can be real. And when it comes to family, of course, the more you attend family gatherings, they're like marriage, marriage, marriage. And sometimes I ask myself, can't a lady just be a lady without an addition of her husband's name or a man's name to herself, really? Because among the things I'm proud of my father's name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's look at the situation when you're still young. You're in a primary school, you're in a secondary school. There are those expectations they expect from you. A girl should behave like this. A girl shouldn't talk like this. By this time, as a girl in P6, P7, you should have done this. A girl who has finished O-level, you should have done this. We expect a lady in A-level to be doing this. What are some of those pressures that you experienced?
Every time we'd go to the village and then we'd meet these girls that know how to cook, know how to do this, know how to do that. When we'd come back, everyone would compare you to that one girl in the village. Like, they'd be like, but Irene can do this in the village and you're here, you're a town child. And it was like so frustrating because at a point I'm like, really do all of, and I was like 8. Then from there, I joined secondary school, and there's this group of girls, actually. Pressure can come from like your group or people around. So in CRE, we were studying, I think, ATR, and they were talking about, I think, visiting the bush, and everyone was like I didn't even know what it was, and then like I was so, oh my God, yeah, and then everyone is like, oh, you know, and then they say it in Luganda, Charlie, and then I'm like, you say what? Visit? What am I going to do in the bush? Yes. What am I going to do in the bush? Am I like a cultist or a sorcerer? And like it was like the pressure. And then like when I went home, I asked my mom, so mommy, what does this mean? Like, because everyone around me, it felt like they had done it, and me, I didn't even know what it meant. So I looked like
something is wrong with
Yeah,
you.
really, that was it. So pressure comes from everywhere. Yeah.
Amazing. You keep sharing with us some of those experiences. Coming to you, as a young boy, you know, in primary and secondary school, you know, we might say that girls usually have a lot of pressures, but it's even worse for the boys.
Exactly.
And for us, the pressure usually comes from our peers, you know. You haven't done this. Oh, boy, you can do this. You're our boy and stuff. What are some of those pressures that you received from your peers?
Now, I can speak personally as a young boy whom I was, and there's this pressure that can come. Have you vibed a girl?
Wow.
You understand? And probably if you've not done so, these men or these boys will see you as a coward, like you're not man enough, you see, because...
And sometimes when that girl is passing by, they'll be pushing you.
Exactly. I love that. And so like,
Wow.
you know, because maybe I'm being in the central and it's Luganda, like, man, now what you cannot fit in us, you see. But you remember, you are growing up, Olifala, you understand? You are growing up, and maybe your mentor has not adopted to that yet, just as your peers. But you see, I want also to talk about this pressure from the family, whereby they've seen other families somewhere. They are so disciplined. Just as she said, oyino kubanga mwana wa gundi.
Gutulaba mwana
wa gundi kyakola. I cannot be like him. I cannot just be like him. And specifically to say is the education bit of it. Mwana wa gundi yasome mateeka. Oyino kubeera lawyer, naffe tulina ofunamu lawyer. You see? But maybe you want to be a DJ. Maybe you want to be a teacher. Maybe you want to do anything else apart from that. But just because this pressure, you cannot contain it at that period of time. That's what I can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Chief.
Yes.
You're smiling already. It seems something is burning up.
The topic.
Yeah, kindly share with us some of those pressures that you've received.
Yeah, I personally, I began receiving this pressure when I was still in school. You understand, like my colleagues have already said it, my pressure came from the peers. And then my background being too much into religion, you know. Then they could see coming from a family whereby your dad is a reverend, they expected you to be humble like your dad. But then to other people's expectations when they used to see you like, let's say, because by nature I loved women, and being near a woman, I could feel so good. Yeah.
So you
What
feel
do you
good
mean you
here.
love women?
He feels good here, yeah?
What do you mean you love women? Be so clear about that. What do you love about women?
Yeah. I always tell people I love women because my mom is a woman.
Okay.
You see?
And it says by nature.
Tell us, what exactly do you love about women?
And just me sitting here, like her being next to me, I'm feeling really good.
I see the reason why you had to push from the other seat and had to come to be next to her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So like people expect a lot from us, and when we don't do that, they feel like we are diverting a little bit.
How can we be able to overcome all those challenges? And putting in perspective your own experiences, how were you able to overcome some of those expectations?
So to start with, there are certain pressures from society I personally think are good for us. They realign you, they put you back to check. You start to know this is what I can do, that I cannot do, because sometimes society pushes you in a direction where you can actually flourish.
Wow.
Or society will push you to a point where you know, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm a very shy person,
Are you
but
shy?
people do not realize it because my dad pushed me. Like he kept pushing. My dad would say, Jemima, you can do this. Go speak to that group of ladies. They will help you. Jemima, go speak to the other person. You get, that is
That's
positive,
good positive pressure, yeah.
Yes. So as youth, we need to learn that sometimes someone reprimands you and then it sounds like pressure, but it's good for you. And you know, there's a saying in Luganda that says, sometimes our parents are going to push you to do, for example, a certain job description because they think it is good for you. But that does not limit your passion for something. Like, I love to sing any day, any time. Bring it on, I will sing. But
the
the fact
bathroom
that
too?
I do surely. So I'm like, you know, the fact that I'm a lawyer does not, you know, stop my
you from-
passion. Yeah. And like when you realize this is negative energy and it will not help me, resist the negative energy. Once you see that something is going to put you in trouble, there are youth that do drugs because of pressure. Like Robert is my friend, Mark is my friend, they're doing drugs, so I also feel like I need to try it out. But in the long run, when you become an addict, he will decide on his own that now I'm tired, I need to leave this path, and trust me, you're going to get stuck there. I have seen people that are stuck on these things, and you know, so the positive energy we can adopt. What you feel will be harmful for you in the long run, you put it away, you do away with it. Or even when you adopt something but realize it will be harmful for you in the long run, we still have the power of will and choice. You let it go. There is no wrong in letting something go.
So how do we strike a balance to make sure that the positive pressure she was talking about, we are able to welcome that, but also resist from the negative pressure, trying to please people on what they expect of us? Starting with you.
It should be from a pivot point of know who you are, your worth. Do you know, now for example, I call myself a man of vision from way child. My secondary, they know me as a man of vision. My university, even at LDC. Why? Because I chose to know who I am. And that's what I advise my fellow youths. When you know who you are, that means you can balance the two. For example, if your family is pushing you to be the lawyer they want to become, but you know that I can be a good accountant, you can now balance and say, no, this is the lawyer they want me to become, but I want to become an accountant, and therefore I cannot advise. And it comes when you communicate to this society, because in most cases youth fear to communicate, but you can tell them
communicating
exactly who they are.
Yeah.
But it's from the point when you know who you are, then you communicate to them. You tell them, I want to be a dancer.
Wow.
You understand? Much as you want me to be the good lawyer with nice haircut, I want to
dancing.
be maybe, for example, the Semakade who has dreads, you see. So at the end of the day, you balance the pressure, just as she said. Now you appreciate the positive and you get to know that this is pushing me further, and then you also shun away the negative and say, but maybe this is correct what they say, and maybe this is right, and you will choose between the two lines which one to go with.
Amazing. So to bring out something clear, as we understand that when we are growing up, society has expectations from us according to age.
Exactly.
I find that, okay, a child of 10 years should be doing this.
Yes.
A child of 15 should be doing this. By 21, you should be done with university or that. By 25, you should have gotten done with studies, you're working and stuff.
Absolutely.
And the moment you start working, they expect you to be having A, B, C, D. So how do we deal with such kind of clear pressures that have become a norm? Because we now understand it well that when I turn 18, I'm supposed to be doing this. When I finish campus, the system is that after campus, I need to get a job. I need to get an apartment maybe, or I need to construct a house, I need to get a car and stuff. Those are the expectations from a society.
Yes.
How can we be able to move away from that? Because you find someone doesn't need to have a car, they don't need to build a house, but because they believe society expects them to have that, they put all their focus on that in the first place and leave out things that they would have really wanted to achieve. They expect you to get married, they expect you to marry. So how do we stand such kind of pressures specifically?
We should agree that times have changed and then society has changed. You know, when I was growing up, I realized that when someone used to, let's say, reach 18 years, they could maybe suggest which ladies they could go for, and it was the family to choose.
Yes.
But now it's real disturbing for, let's say, my dad. I know he watches the show. For him to tell me,
come and say, this is the girl.
Yeah, this is the girl. I mean, I did pick my mom. so it's just realizing that things have changed. I personally, I like writing a lot. I wrote some of the things in my book, The Foreign God. Yeah. But then it again comes back to us. What do you want to become? Yeah. I might want to become a lawyer when my dad wanted me to be a pastor. You understand?
Yeah.
Him being in
reverend.
that, yeah, him being in that lane. But then I chose to be the person I am there. Though I won't brag that I made it, but I'm seeing somewhere.
Yeah.
Though also his pressure helped in grooming me.
Yeah.
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 If he didn't put in some restrictions, maybe
Yes.
I'll be a gangster somewhere.
Yeah.
Being a guy who likes women, maybe I would even a deck squash and I'm squashing
Sure.
deck somewhere.
Yeah.
So it really comes back to us, and then also society should realize that times have changed. It's fine for my colleague Jamie to stay without a man, and she has everything, than those days whereby 20 they'll ask Jamie, we are not seeing anyone. Chichi, over there. You understand?
Yes.
But now, you know, even he will tell you that even posting now a lady that you're posting your girlfriend, it will disturb you like, I tell you, you understand?
Yes.
So times have changed.
So I do get you, and what I get clearly is, you know, positive pressure is important.
Yes.
And sometimes we need that pressure for us to be able to achieve and to move. But also it helps us to limit ourselves. Sometimes we get too ambitious on certain things, and therefore that pressure, because we know there are people to be accountable to. It's just not about you.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise someone would say, it's about me, so I'll just go naked on the street because does it concern them? This is about me. So certain kind of pressures from society help us to remain with the humane that we need to have.
Exactly.
As a lady, how are you able to stand these kind of pressures that have become normal, that people definitely do expect you to get married, to have a job, to have a house and all that, to have children? How are you able to stand such kind of pressures?
Firstly, as Robert said, I have learned to communicate. In as much as everyone thinks they have a say in your life, there are people that matter. That if I, Jemima, walked out of here naked, the whole world may, you know, be like, oh, we saw Jemima, she was doing this, she was doing that. But I know there is someone that would be more hurt than the whole world.
Yeah.
My father would be hurt. I remember towards my graduation, someone told me, you're 23, you're jobless, you have a small phone, not even a small car, and in addition to that, you don't even have a boyfriend. And I was like, wow.
How did they get to know that you didn't have a boyfriend?
Because this person was my friend. I remember I was seated in the car with my dad, and I asked my dad, Daddy, do I have to get married exactly after school? I wanted to pass a point across, but I asked it like that because actually it was an appropriate time. My dad is like, when you see the right person, and you get to know him, and you know he's good for you, and you can keep him company, and he will keep you company, and you're ready, then you will get married. I realized communication saves a lot of things. As children or youth growing up, because in the sight of our parents are always children, we need to know that the things you can't talk about, there are things you can't talk about when you're 5. Your dad will look at you like, look at this child, what am I raising? There are things you can't talk about still when you're 10, but now your status elevates as your age goes by. These are things I would never call my dad like, Daddy, sokoje. You get? But now the fact that I'm, like 23, I can talk to my dad about certain things. And our parents realize that we are growing up. There are certain conversations they would not hold with you being young. But now that you have advanced a little in age, they, so when you communicate, they listen and they will advise you accordingly. And also, there are pressures that come from within.
Yeah, you as an individual.
Yes, you need to know how to take them on. There is a time I was looking at YouTubers, me and my head, we can be a thing. I was looking at these YouTubers, they're like 22, and I'm like, but I'm 22 like that person. You see the car they have, you see, and then you forget your location, you forget how long you stay in school, you get. And really, we need to, I believe the end justifies the means, how you got there.
You see, when you talk about that, looking at what other people have been able to achieve, you know, you start asking yourself, so the other guy was able to buy his first car when he was 25, and I'm 28. What am I waiting for? The other guy got married when he was this age. Oh, my OG gave birth last month. I'm still here. My OG has 2 kids. Exactly. And yeah, so when you add your individual pressure to the pressure of the society, then it becomes worse. But what we need to put in consideration is the consequences.
Exactly.
Because you see, the people that are pushing you, when they push you as a young man to get married, you're going to get married to this lady, but they are not going to be taking care of your family. When you get kids, they are not going to pay their school fees.
Absolutely.
There'll be the same people saying, look at him, he can't even afford to take the kids to school. Eh? What are some of the positive expectational pressures from society that have helped you to become a better person?
But there's also this wing of woman emancipation.
Wow.
And I've heard shows and even other ladies encouraging women. Personally, there's a show I saw and a woman was like, by the women, you can also vibe a man. You see, that is also another pressure that is coming on. That if a man can have 3 girlfriends, it's okay for a woman to also have 3 boyfriends because it's equality. That's another pressure that is coming in. But now your question was, how now, what are these positive that we can appreciate? First and foremost is to know our family. When you know that this is, because every family has a virtue, you know that values that they cherish. You know that this is who we are. But this is it. So this is who we are. So I think appreciate that from your family, that if my dad worked so hard to be here, I need also to work hard. But also the society from the church, which they have groomed us. These people have appreciated us. I'm a born-again Christian, but the church has done so much to realize who I am. I preach on streets, I preach in other podiums, pulpits, but they have also given me opportunity to be the confident guy I am. So we must also appreciate that pressure. Then also the pressure from peers. Much as there are those vibes that you may not go into, use if you go to sex, use condom, what. That is also another pressure you can appreciate because man, they're caring for you. You're our guy, Tofa Sirim, you see. So appreciate that. And then the bad energy, take it away, but all those are the positive we can pick on and then run away with it and be the good people we can become.
Thank you. How has, you know, the expectational pressures helped you to become a better person?
Yeah, let me take it this way. For example, when society believes in you,
they'll push you.
They'll push you. They'll be like, no, Mark, you can do like this. And then there's like my colleague talked about it. There's some things you don't do because you fear what will happen. What will people hear? For instance, if they woke up one time and then they're like, Mark impregnated the other
and they are the ones that push you. Money, you can do it.
You can impregnate. The people at home will be like, but my dad listened to that have impregnated someone because they know they're keeping some humble guy, the guy at home. You understand? And then now, just out of the blue, they say never pregnant. They'll be like, no,
that's not my son.
And also, we should agree, like, parents being so protective and not communicating with children. This has caused us a lot of issues in society. For instance, I love something to say, but maybe I fear my parent. I can't expose it to my dad. I'll be like, personally, I'm so free with my parents because I'm so talkative. Me, I'm so talkative. I can call my mom. I'm like, but mama, this the other baby. Like, you understand? So what I was trying to, like, there's something like the colleague said. There's that positive
pressure that helps you to become better.
Like, this has, for instance, the backgrounds you come from, people, you grew up seeing things the right way, you understand?
Yes.
So that has really pushed us.
Thank you so much. Now for ladies, you know what you do in your groups. You get a very nice guy, a guy that is committed, a guy alina future.
Talk about it.
Na ye katika pressure kamwekali na muli mu group. How have you gotten the good pressure, and you know, how have you managed, you know, to be away from the other bad pressure but use the positive one to become a better person?
Personally, I have decided that if I'm to get into a relationship with anyone, it's a personal choice. There is no board of governors. Why? Because no better board of governors, but dear, I am in this relationship alone. And the other thing is that, like what she said, yeah, like you get this guy, he's committed, but mostly for ladies, the only problem is that he doesn't have money. I personally believe there is no guy that doesn't have money. Every guy has money. His money just needs to be aligned to a certain, you know, place. Because the thing is that if your guy earns, for example, I'll give an example of builders. If he earns 30,000 a day, when you multiply 30,000 every day
Times 30 days.
times 30 days, that's a 9. And there are people who sit in offices and cannot.
They get a 500 and
You get it? So just align his finances. Tell him, honey, we are not going to live in the house of 300,000. You get it? Let's stay in one of 150, because this is Uganda. Those houses are there. Get this house of 150,000, save. Try as much as you can to save. I usually give my friends an example of be a Ruth that uncovers his feet. When you uncover his feet, that means you see his vision and you fit yourself in his vision. I can grow your vision to become an emperor of an empire, because I want an empire. I need to be an empress. You get? So for me, that is just it, really.
Now for the singles out there, right here, there is a potential. I don't know what you're waiting for, but I'm going to put you on pressure and accept my positive pressure, because this potential, you need it. She will be able to make you an emperor.
Correct you on something. I am single but reserved for the right person.
That's why I said a potential. She is. So, you know, purpose is right here to inspire you, but also transform you as a young person. As you see the things we've been discussing here, they help you to understand yourself better and become a better person. And when you become better, Uganda becomes better. And by doing that, you're a patriot. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. I thank you so much for watching this show. See you next time.
Youth of Purpose.